Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This video we are looking at the Draftkings and Fanduel Week 8 final look picks. We have a 13-game main slate for tomorrow, with there being no bye weeks, this week. So got a lot more extra games. Let's go ahead and get into some of the picks. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it for the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out other links in the description. The full picks is the website dfsprocess.net. Follow on Twitter/X. It's at the DFS process. And let's go ahead and get started with this one. So, looking at the quarterback position, you got all three of your top options are in really, really good spots. So, I feel like this week, unlike other weeks, you might be more tempted to go down, look for a cheaper quarterback, but there are some values at other spots. And with Mahomes having such a good matchup, Hurts has such a good matchup, and Lamar has such a good matchup, I think you might want to try to get to one of those guys. Right now, I have Lamar in there. He's just coming off one of his best games of his life. Looked so good out there last week, and he gets a good spot to try to capitalize on that again. This week, he threw for almost over 350 yards last week, had a rushing touchdown, 4 total touchdowns, and looking to kind of keep that going against a poor Arizona team. Very likely he's been having great chemistry with Zay Flowers, a rookie, and Andrews, of course. Other options, if you want to go cheaper, you have possibly looking at maybe a Dak Prescott at $6,100, or Trevor Lawrence, just because he has a good spot going up against a bad Pittsburgh secondary, or a C.J. Stroud, or some other candidates to look at. Going over to running back here, your top end is Christian McCaffrey. He's always a great play if you can get him. Looked like Brock Purdy was not going to play this week, but he just got cleared, so that's a boost to McCaffrey. You know, Purdy likes to throw him some dump-offs. But at running back, you got some other good values here. Kamara at 73 looks really good. He's been super involved in the receiving game every single week since he's been back. 14 targets last week, 8, 3, 14. He's just been a beast in PPR sites like Draftkings, super valuable. I'm going with a value pick here. A couple of cheap running backs look really good. First one is Breece Hall at $5,900 only. I don't know why he's this cheap. His price has not really caught up to him, went down even from a really good game last time out against a tough Eagles defense. Very good against the run, had that late touchdown to get him 20 fantasy points. But we know Dalvin Cook kind of voicing his frustration a little bit. He's not getting a ton of volume. It's been mostly going to Breece Hall. 17, 25 touches the last 2 weeks. Good matchup against this Giants' bad rush defense. I definitely want to keep him going this week. Other picks in that similar price range, you got Joe Mixon, who's a volume king, but has kind of struggled, not really finding the end zone this year, and it is a tough matchup. You got Bijan Robinson, $6,000 after a crazy week where he wasn't listed on the injury report and only got 1 carry. Turns out he was sick heading into that week, and they just didn't report it, so they didn't use him. They didn't give him much volume at all, just 1 carry. This week, probably go back to him. He's not, there's always some risk going back to a player like that, but I think at people that played him last week, they're not going to play him this week. His ownership will be lower. The price tag is just really cheap at $6,000 though, so that's why I'm interested at the price tag. Is just really good. Going over to wide receivers, if you want to pay up for Tyreek Hill, you can. He was banged up heading into this week, but no, he's not listed on the injury report. He's good to go. Cooper Kupp finally had a bad week since he's been back. Went to Puka Nacua, only 2 catches. He had 2 drops on the first drive, and that really hurt. The rest of the way, it was mostly just Nacua. It wasn't getting much involved. I don't know if I need to go all the way up here. A.J. Brown looks really good, but you got to think at some point Devontae Smith has a big game. He's $6,700 matching up against this bad Commanders defense. He had 778 earlier this meeting against them. He's been targeted a little bit recently, like 11 targets against the Jets. Good. Had some drops, but it's about, he started off the year really well. Hasn't really done much the last few weeks. I think he's ready to bounce back. So going with him, price tag is really nice at $6,700. Other receivers that look good are Adam Thielen at 66, just because he is a volume machine. It seems like Bryce Young is just locked in on him. He's playing all the snaps at receiver. They only have like Chark as another guy that's competing for some volume, but 11 catches through our last 4 weeks. He's been their best option. They're not using the tight end much. Play him at 66 at home. And then I think there's definitely some other good value picks you could look to. If you want to go with a $5,900 Christian Kirk. We know that the matchup is really good against this Pittsburgh defense. They are one of the worst against the pass, giving up 25th in the league. It's 250 passing yards. But this team led by Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson likes to throw a lot. And ever since Christian Kirk had a bad week 1, he's done nothing except be super consistent in the last 6 weeks. So some tougher spots, still performed well. This is a very good spot. He catches a lot of his targets. Super high volume in terms of just, maybe not super high volume in targets, but whatever, always is catching a high percentage of them. So it's a high volume in receptions. He's always grabbing them. No issues with drops for him. Knock on wood. Other receivers that look pretty good this week, I like Jordan Addison at 57. He's now without another week without Justin Jefferson. He gives you a lot of upside. 6 touchdowns already. Without Jefferson, not really going to go anywhere. Like Nico Collins at 55. And then for a value piece, Kendrick Bourne, because he's went from playing like 50, 60% of snaps to playing 90 plus the last few weeks. And that's where he's really capitalized. So like him as a value. Tight ends, value one would be, a lot of people are talking about him, but Terry McBride with Zach Ertz being on injured reserve, he's going to become the primary focus at tight end for them. Maybe it would have been a little better if Murray was back this week, but he's not going to be play. Other options, go up a little bit more for Logan Thomas. Go up for a Dalton Schultz, who's been a touchdown machine last 3 weeks, 3 consecutive weeks with a touchdown, and the targets have been there. So he's finally looking really good, building that chemistry with C.J. Stroud. And if you want to pay up, it would be for Mark Andrews or going all the way up for Travis Kelce. Defenses, cheap. You got some at 2K flat. I don't want to go with them. Probably the cheapest I would consider be the Vikings against Jordan Love, who's just been terrible recently. Ever since started off the year pretty well, but he struggled passing against a Denver defense, and that just shouldn't happen because Denver's defense is terrible. So wouldn't mind them. Otherwise, Falcons look good against a rookie quarterback and Will Levis making his debut. And if you want to pay up for a defense, the Chiefs, fine. Jets, or going up to the Eagles, they should be able to put some pressure on Sam Howell this week. But that's what I got on Draftkings for a final look. Let's go ahead and talk about Fanduel. Okay, on Fanduel, pretty similar with the core pieces, a little different at running back. I threw Tony Pollard in there because he's just so cheap compared to some of these other options here, like your top end, tough to get to Mostert. McCaffrey's over 10K, so it'll be kind of tough to get to him. 8K is all right, but Kenneth Walker's in a tough spot. Saquon's in a tough spot. Could go Kamara, but no problem there. But I think Pollard had that nice, finally had a good game last week. He's been kind of up and down this year. He was taken as one of the first running backs off the board in a lot of fantasy drafts. People expect a lot. He's going in the top 15 in a lot of drafts. So been a little disappointing. Hasn't found the touchdown. Hasn't found the end zone since week 1. It's going to change at some point. I mean, he's still been doing most of the work at running back. I mean, they have a couple other running backs, like Dwelly or Roscoe, get some work back there. But for the most part, short yardage, it's going to be Pollard still. And I think the touchdowns are going to come. He's definitely going to get more volume, 15, 30 yards, 8, 29. That's just not what you kind of expect from Tony Pollard. So that's pretty much it. Tight ends, same types of tight ends that I mentioned. Mark Andrews, probably easier to get to Kelce for only $1,300 more. Otherwise, Schultz. McBride is cheap on FanDuel. Defense is going cheap. Once again, the Vikings look fine at 37. Got the Falcons at 39. Those are a couple that I would look to if you're not going to pay all the way up. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Best of luck. I'll catch you all next time.